Good afternoon to this our first day afternoon session of the International Digital Conference on Solar Energy Materials and Energy-Water Nexus, which is to celebrate the 10th anniversary of ANSOLE. And I'm happy to introduce to you the next speaker. She is giving an organizer's lecture to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the International Science Program at Uppsala University. Please, Professor Carla Puglia, I will give you the floor and welcome to your talk.
Thank you so much for the short presentation. I will start sharing my screen. I hope that, no, you should be, I'm not available.
So you click share screen, then you upload your...
Yes, now, yes, I know, this I know. I was not able before. So I hope that you see my presentation. Do you see that I changed the slides?
Yeah, we see.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, thank you for the introductory. And my name is Carla Puglia, and I'm working at the International Science Program. I will share this presentation with my colleague, Barbara Brena. I will speak about the International Science Program, and Barbara instead will present the events that are organized for celebrating the 60th anniversary of this program. Of course, I wanted to start, thank you, the organizer and Daniel for inviting us to be able to participate to this nice conference, but also, of course, congratulations to the ANSOLE. This organization that I consider like the sister of the International Science Program, and I mean, for today, that is the 10th birthday of ANSOLE. So I will start just introducing the International Science Program, which is a unit actually at Uppsala University, which works for research capability building in low or middle low income countries. Actually, we work mostly with researcher and with higher education at PhD level, sometimes also at master level. We have 3 programs in the basic sciences: physics, mathematics, chemistry, but actually this is not considered as basic as fundamentals, but we are, for example, in physics, we have research activity which range from very theoretical nuclear physics to very applied physics, like more engineering actually. So the International Science Program, of course, give financial support to different groups and networks, and this is mostly funded by the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, SIDA, and we get about 3.3 million euro per year. This is for the new agreement between the 20 and 23. And of course, we have also quite a significant contribution from Uppsala University and from Stockholm University. But to all these resources, we have to consider also the in-kind contribution from the institution that we support, because of course they provide salaries, premises, different kind of consumables. They allow actually our supported group and network to run the research activities. So this is what is the direct program, the support. I mean, really the core of the program, when we really have a contact with the partner and we are really close to our colleagues abroad, mostly. But I have also to say that the International Science Program is a very important, is also important for SIDA, because we are coordinated big bilateral and regional projects. In fact, we have the coordinator of the bilateral program in Cambodia, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, actually quite all the SIDA bilateral programs. So if we think how the International Science Program operate the support to research group and network, it's very important to consider that we don't support individuals, but only research group, institution actually, or scientific network. And of course, for us, networks are very important because in networks, actually, we have a research program which joined different institutions, different research groups in different countries. So this means that having networks means that different groups can share resources like facility, experimental facility, can share supervision for PhD student or master student, can share expertise of different kinds, and of course, a student can take courses or teacher can give courses in different nodes of the networks. But how can you get support from ISP? This is because we invite groups, or actually we invite research leaders to apply to present a proposal. If this proposal is evaluated positively, this means that it's feasible, it's novel, of course, it has a scientific meaning, and of course also is a project that actually address local needs and help in developing strategy for a really good research capability development. Then the project is approved, and then the group gets an agreement. Usually is an agreement every 3 years. The group has to reapply for a continuation of the support. The support of the ISPs is very long term because sometimes we start with groups that don't have any kind of facility or any kind of resources, and then we phase out these groups when they are capable to attract other kind of funds, and then this can also require very long time. There is a new policy now at ISP, and this is to have, when we start a new project, have at least a cycle of 5 years period. So every 5 years we look at how is the development, how far has the research activity come, and then we can decide when phase out the project. What kind of resources can be bought or can be supported by ISP? It's very untitled and it's very open. First of all, the project is really owned from the group of the network. We don't intrude in the activity. We can give only support in linking to more experienced research group in collaboration, or but I mean the project is very run at the node. And then the group can, or the network can acquire with the support of the equipment, consumables, can be, for example, short-term exchange of staff, student, postgraduate training. We adapt actually this is a very typical for international science program, the PhD training in sandwich mode. This means that the PhD spends some months every year abroad in a more experienced or a more resourced facility abroad, and then they come back for a period of time home, because we want that the expertise is brought back to the local institution, but also because we hope that the PhD student, when he's back, can build actually a facility which in a certain sense can be similar to the facility where he or she is trained. Of course, the money are also used for arranging courses or attend the conference, to travel and a different kind of exchange. We usually don't support salaries, premises or vehicles. So where are we? We are actually in the core program. We are covering 12 countries between Africa and Asia, little in Latin America at the moment. But actually we are much more countries countries because many countries are included in the networks, and I can show you this map. I hope that you see my slides, but as you see, the solid red are the country where we have group research group that we within mathematics, physics, or chemistry are supported. The light red as instead the other countries that are included in networks. The other kind, the square partner, are actually countries where the ISP has a special agreement. Here, if with the Saudi Arabian is really finishing, so it's the last year I think that we have this agreement. But I want to mention the two agreements that we have in Thailand, because we have the two agreements that allows PhD student of the country around Thailand, but also in one agreement also from Africa, can be, PhD student can be hosted in Center of Excellence in Thailand for do some training or spend 1 or 2 years of their PhD education. So these, among all the different kind of physics programs that we support, we have also, of course, some groups in some countries that are working with sustainable renewable energy. And this is, for example, the groups in Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Myanmar, Indonesia, and Nepal. But we have also a network, and actually many of our colleagues in this network should be part of ANSOLE, or at least they were. I didn't see any today, but they usually are part also of ANSOLE. This is the MCISA, which is the Network for Material Science and Solar Energy, a network of Eastern and Southern Africa, and join groups, two groups in Kenya, one in Tanzania, one in Uganda, and one in Zambia. So all the different collaborations that are nurtured within the International Science Program, we have a South-South collaboration, as I already mentioned. This is typical for networking, for networks, where actually both student and staff can travel through the locally in the region for sharing facility, expertise, or courses, for example. We have also the PhD sandwich program, as I already mentioned, but we have also another kind of interaction, North-South collaboration, and this is what is the minor field study. This is a program for for students, Swedish students, I mean at the master level actually, financed by SIDA, but this university student can apply and get a scholarship for at least 8 weeks project work in a research group or institution or also company for their project work for their master's thesis in low or middle income countries. And then you can imagine that ISP is a very important portal for the students, because we have a lot of connection, a lot of projects in different countries. And actually I'm the coordinator of our faculty of this program for the student of our faculty. So I just wanted to show some outcomes, because here you see that the last period of support by SIDA, which was covering from 2014 to 2019, we had about 40-43 research groups and 17-20 networks. We had resources that were directly allocated to our groups, like 16 million euro. And in the year we had 14 activities, but started 16 new. And these are the outcomes. Thesis, publication, organization of scientific meetings. Here is given 4 years, so we have it in average 70 PhD theses for year at 26 million euro. So it's quite significant if you compare how much it costs for a PhD in Europe. Of course, we have also here distinguish the female PhD student. The S stay for sandwich, as I told you before. Why I wanted to mention this? Because from 2015, the International Science Program addressed also the gender balance that is actually inexistent in physics and mathematics. So we gave the possibility to our supported group to have extra money for earmarked activities. And we already, after 5 years, we already see some important improvement in the number of PhD students, PhD graduation, but also between the female staff members at our supported institution. Here are 2 of the many different kind of projects that our groups do with these extra earmarked funds. Here is the creation of a PhD position for a female candidate. This is in Dhaka, at Dhaka University. This has allowed this candidate to have a flexible working time so that she can harmonize the family duties, she has a baby, and the research activity. This instead the third summer school that is actually targeting the PhD, no, the student at the last year in the high school, because the Tanzania goal is to improve the admission rate of female candidates to a scientific program at a university level. So I think that the International Science Program is a very successful program. And of course, this is only possible because our partner, our colleagues abroad are very committed and are very passionate. The students are really enthusiastic. And I think that this was the enablers for our project. Now I leave the words to my colleague, Barbara. I hope that Barbara is online.
Carla, I see this slide where you write International Science Program.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So I am Barbara Brena, and I am Carla's deputy in the physics program at ISP, and I'm also a theoretical researcher in material science. And I would like to introduce to you the events that we are organizing this year for the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the ISP. So first of all, in ISP, as Carla said, we have 3 fields, which are physics. That was the first one, the one that started ISP already in the 60s. And then this is the true 60th anniversary when the physics started. Then in the year 1970, the chemistry program started. And more recently, in 2002, also the mathematics program started. So this year, yes, okay. So this year we are celebrating this ISP 60th anniversary with a series of events. And you are very welcome to have a look at our homepage, which I'm showing here, where we are describing a little bit what's going on this year. And okay. So I will start by describing the webinars which we have planned. We are planning to have more or less 1 webinar per month during the year 2021. And the idea is to raise visibility in our activities to anyone who is interested, and of course also for this institution that can help us with funding and so on. And we want to celebrate our 60th anniversary, our 60 years of success stories. And in these seminars, there will be both some contribution from people from ISP who explain how we are working, but especially there will be many scientific seminars from our supported groups in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, as Carla said. And of course, I would like to highlight that by listening to our seminars and so on, everyone who is interested can also find a way to get new contacts and to start collaborations with our groups, which is a very nice thing. And the seminars are starting very soon. Actually, they are starting on the 17th of February. So you are very welcome to participate if you are interested. And you can join the seminars by registering to our homepage. So thank you. So this is, next slide, please.
Yes.
Yes, here is just the program of the first seminars. The first one will be given by Cecilia Öhman, who is the Deputy Director of the Chemistry, and she will talk about her work. Then we will have in March, the title has to be announced, but we will have a seminar in astrophysics. Then in April, we will have a seminar in chemistry. And in May, we are having a new seminar in physics where they will talk about the spectroscopy technology applied to biochemistry. So thank you. And finally, I would like to highlight the events that we have organized during the year. Okay, initially we will have an event which is dedicated to our PhD students, this Building Future Networks, but then we will have a second event which is focused on gender equality in different cultural environments. And the event will take place in 2 days, but during the first days, if you are interested, we will have invited speakers that will describe different aspects of gender-related problems and how to plan your career considering gender and different cultures. And then we have our final event in December, which will be the real celebration of the ISP 60 years. And on these occasions, there will be several seminars, again, given by our most successful groups about their science and about their research and how this was helped by ISP, and they will describe their success stories. There will be many groups talking of material science, but also on seismology, astrophysics, and of course, chemistry and mathematics. So if you are interested, you are very welcome to listen to these seminars. Yeah, then I think I've gone through that.
Yes. So thank you very much for your attention. Here it's all the staff who is working actually at the International Science Program. Thank you.
Okay. So, where's Ineke?
Yeah, I'm here. So thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions, comments?
I want to ask, okay, comments and questions. ISP has been supporting, let me say, supporting ANSOLE from its inception. When I met Ernst Groningen in Belgium, that was 2012. So, and ISP became an institutional member of ANSOLE. And I want to say at this point that you've been very faithful supporter of our events as sponsor, and you always pay a membership fee, and I'm so, so grateful. The question is, can ISP go beyond that and support the network, especially when it comes to our scholarship program? Because we are looking, the scholarship program was the best program which helped within short time to help a lot of young Africans, like okay, let me say Dr. Mohammed Ali, who presented today from Egypt, a young lady who within 2 years,
I met her in Cairo.
Within 2 years, she was who organized at the 5th anniversary. Yeah. Within 2 years, she could do her PhD. Now she's assistant professor. We have people in Togo who are now the directors of companies. We have people who are working now in India, Nigerian student who had a scholarship from us. But unfortunately, the funding stopped, and we are looking for, and I think that was so effective, and I hope ISP could, even within small amount, help ANSOLE continue this fellowship program. This just I'm suggesting, I don't know how the
I can answer this question. The problem is that, as I told you, we can't give support to individuals. So scholarship can't be provided by ISP. So we should find some other way, another form.
yeah, the other way would
but
be
let us
to support the activities of ANSOLE, which is a network. Then ANSOLE, yeah, that's the only way, because I think but you are doing the same, because actually ISP, when you see the MCESA construct, you also are indirectly supporting some scholarships, but you are by supporting the network.
Yes, of course. Yes.
MCESA. Yeah.
No,
So
because I probably was not clear, but our support to the PhD student, I mean, we have support to the PhD student, but it's through the group. It's the group that decided the part of the budget is allocated for the PhD.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. But whatever the case, I'm extremely grateful to ISP for the support that we've been receiving all through this year, and you are the one of the sponsor of this event with the highest amount. I'm so grateful. Thank you very, very much. And I'm happy to be with you. We've worked together with evaluation process. We've done a lot.
I think that we should increase the synergy, because
to increase one way or the other. So this is what I want to say. Yeah. So okay.
I think we have another question. Ale, do you?
Yes, I have just. Thank you very much, Professor Carla, for your presentation and your interesting international ISP. Let me know. I don't know. I see the list of the eligible countries, and I don't see Senegal. Why?
No, because Senegal is actually in two different networks. One in physics, in AFSIN, and one in mathematics. Because you know that there was a period where SIDA allowed only support to so-called focus countries, and they were only 12. Senegal was not in, and I don't know if at this moment was some political issue or because Senegal was too rich. Okay. Yeah, but this is why we started with the network, because in this case we could have one focus country and the other could be outside. For example, Ivory Coast and Togo, Cameroon could be part of the support, but not they couldn't get the direct support. But we have a lot of mathematics students from Senegal, very many also at universities through ISP. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I was in Senegal also, because we had a meeting of the ISP in Senegal. Wonderful.
Okay.
It was wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think for time reasons, we have to continue to Daniel Egbe's presentation. Thank you again, Carla and Barbara, for your interesting presentation. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested to get in touch with you or follow your webinars. So please, Daniel, take the floor and give your presentation.
So what I want to do now is to share the cake with you. We have to do it quickly so that before, you bring it here. So yes. So I hope. Happy birthday. Okay, let me see. Are you seeing? Are you seeing? No, let's. Can you make this thing?
No, we have to move the camera now.
Move the camera.
Move the camera down, Daniel.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Noch nicht?
More.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just be talking at the same time. So this is our birthday cake. It was we ordered. So I'm asking all of us at least to sing happy birthday to ANSOLE. Okay, and I hope that it will be recorded for history. So we'll start. Happy birthday, ANSOLE.
Happy birthday to
birthday Happy
birthday,
ANSOLE. Yeah. So I'm blowing the cake. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Here's a piece of cake.
So.
Happy birthday for all of us, all of ANSOLE.
Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen and then. So I think you are seeing my screen. So ANSOLE, African Network for Solar Energy, 10 years after, and it's for me an emotional thing to give this presentation because it has been a long way to get to this point. So everything started where? It started during the EcoCom conference organized by Samir Ramdan and Amel Benfred in Sousse in 2010. As Samir explained already this morning, Professor Sarisivci of Johannes Kepler University was invited to the event, but he, out of other duties, he could not make it. He asked me to go to represent him in Sousse. I went there by the destiny, I would say, or God leadership, God's leadership. This network was initiated. So this is a picture of all those who attended the conference in Sousse, and the network was initiated during a lecture session where I was moderating, and Professor Johannes from University of Addis Ababa was giving a lecture. During my moderation, I made a statement which triggered everything. I just said it would be interesting that African researchers would come together and in a form of a network on semiconducting material for energy. So, and when I went and sat down, Professor Ramdan came to me and said, "This is a wonderful idea. Let's do something." That was the 4th of November. And that same 4th, we met 9 of us between 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 people from North Africa, myself and Professor Johannes Teketel. And because of language issue, I was asked to lead that meeting. And I ended up becoming the coordinator of the network. So I'm very grateful to Professor Samir Ramdan and Amel Benfred who organized the EcoCom event. And yeah, I said now Samir and myself and also the wife, we are wonderful friends. I've visited them in Tunis. I've visited me in Austria. So we've had conferences together, whether in Cameroon or in Tanzania. So we are now family. So I'm so happy to have this family friends, or my family, I will put it that way. And the conference was then, the network was officially launched 3 months later. So we initiated it 4th of November. We launched it 4th of February. And this could only be possible through the help of Professor Sarisivci, our main key lecturer this morning, and he looked for funding from the local authorities, from banks, to sponsor the travel of African representatives during that initial launching meeting. And later on, ANSOLE was also registered as an NGO, which is very important for us to have a legal status. So I registered it in Germany. So at this stage, I want to really thank once more Professor Sarisivci. I don't know whether he's here listening. Without his, Professor Sarisivci is somebody who has a very good nose to as I said in German, riechen. So when he smells something coming up, and he knows to where to direct things. So, and he felt that something was coming up, and he decided to mobilize funds and through which we invited our participants from Africa and elsewhere. And at that meeting, the launching meeting on the 4th of February 2011, representatives of ICTP were there, and ICTP adopted ANSOLE as one of their network, the number 70, the 73rd network of ICTP. And on the course of time, for us to structure ourselves, you need a website. And this guy, Narcissus Gada, he's not here, but I want to acknowledge his contribution since 2011, when I met him during a conference in Hamburg. I gave a lecture during a conference organized by Desertec. And there, as I spoke for Africa, I said Desertec, the concept of Desertec was a new colonialistic concept, trying to harvest energy from North Africa for the European economy or market without thinking about sub-Saharan Africa. And people were very happy with my lecture. And this young man came to me, said, good talk. And he said, he has possibility of helping me in one way or the other. And so I contacted him when I needed a website. So he's been our webmaster since then. So I want to thank him here, although he's not here. Then we had people who accompanied us, faithful members, personal members, and institutional members. And one of them is ISP. And as was said already, I met Ernst Groningen, was by then, he's now retired, the director of ISP. We met in Brussels in October 2012 or September, I've forgotten the date, but during that period. And he decided to bring ISP to become a member of ANSOLE. And since then, they've been faithful in everything, accompanying us, sponsoring our conferences and paying their dues. I want to say here in the name of ANSOLE, thank ISP, and Carla, you are here, and Barbara, you are here. Thank you very, very much. And I hope we can extend the cooperation in new level. And at one stage, Professor Lang and the Institute of Polymeric Material and Testing came in at a period that I really needed help. And that's why I said that it's a faithful and strong support in the time of storm. And I am still with him. They've been supporting, and they're one of the organizers of this. IPMT is one of the organizers of this meeting, not only logistically, but also financially. And I'm so very, very thankful and grateful to the Institute and its director, Professor Lang. And there are many other people that I cannot name here. People in like Ineke, who played a big role when we met each other in India. She became a member representing us in Holland, and opening a new venue, as you're going to see later on with BALEWARE, which I'm going to present. So I thank all those many people from Cameroon. I think of Professor Cesar Capse is here, Vidal, Martin Kanta, Professor Zoué from Côte d'Ivoire, Malik Maza, who attended the initial meeting. That's so Abdel Fattah Badadi. The names are, the list will be long if I have to just name all those people. I'm so grateful, and I thank all those guys who have been accompanying ANSOLE up to now. At one point, we created an NGO because that was necessary to have a legal statute. If not, I want to tell you, we will have had sharks. Like we had people from China who wanted to take our name. So we had a time where we had to fight, make them understand that we have been registered under the German law. They should not use this name ANSOLE or use our logo. So the necessity to create an NGO was and is very important for ANSOLE. So now we are a legal structure and we can operate in different levels. So these were the founding members, and you have Harald Hopper, I can call him my junior brother, but with whom we know each other since 2003, and we've worked together. We've published most of my papers. I've published together with Harald Hopper, and I hope he's here to listen. I thank him also for accompanying ANSOLE, and as not only as a member, but also for the fact that he took students, ANSOLE students who came from Algeria, from different parts of Africa. So now his group is full of African students. I'm so grateful for his contribution for the network. And these are the goals of ANSOLE. We foster technical and vocational education. We foster experimental research, and we promote and encourage the use of renewable energy in Africa. So the achievements of ANSOLE are so many. We have more than almost 1,200 members worldwide from 45 African countries, 31 non-African countries. Most of our members, 90% of them come from higher education institutions. So we've organized till date more than 30 events, and this one is also one of our international events that we've organized. We had this 3 scholarship program where within short period and very little money, we graduated 13 PhD just within 4 years that we had the scholarship program. We're receiving around 14,000 or 15,000 euro per year, but we succeeded with that small money to open ways to many young Africans who are having good position now at their home country, like professors, assistant professors, and so on. So and that's why we need some funding to continue this program. We've done mediation of laboratories for African students in Europe and European students, American students to Africa. So we became, at one point, we're not more just an African network, it was a worldwide network. So helping people from Africa, from Latin America, from North America, from Asia, from Europe. So we are a worldwide network. So we are proud of that. We do publish an ANSOLE magazine where we give an account of our activities worldwide. So I cannot enumerate all our achievements, but I'm so proud of what we have achieved the past 10 years. Membership is open to everybody, and I'm very proud of this number of institutional members, which you can see here: ISP, Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, IPME, and one company, Aqua Power from Saudi Arabia. And through the help of INECE, I had to travel to Brazil in 2015 to attend a workshop on a European EU-funded project. And there we initiated this platform called BALEWARE, Bridging Africa, Latin America, and Europe on renewable energy and water and renewable energy applications. So and the platform was launched officially in December 2016 in Arusha, Tanzania. So that was the initiation of the network in Curitiba, Brazil. And this came about through the lecture of this lady, Maria Teresa Alarcon Herrera. She gave a lecture on water pollution in Mexico, and she made a statement that the same problem of contamination of water, which is found in Mexico, is the same in some part of Africa. And I stood up, I asked, do you have contacts with Africa? Have you ever been to Africa? Do you have research partners? She said, no, she'll be interested. So that's how the idea was born. And that's how we said, let's start something. And then we started the platform. So the platform, as I said, was launched in December 2016 in Arusha, Tanzania. So I want to thank INECE, who is our moderator now, then Professor Maria Teresa, who triggered everything, and Professor Lam played a big role in the launching in Tanzania by funding my travel and taking part of it. And so IPME, my present institution, has been very, very supportive in all for ANSOLE as well as for the BALEWARE platform. At one point, we needed also to do something locally. ANSOLE is registered as an NGO in Germany. So at one point, they were looking for the city of Jena, where we are, and the state of Thuringia was looking for an African association in the wave of the refugee movement from different parts of the world, from Africa, from Asia, from especially from Syria to Germany. They were looking for an association which can be a focal point, give counseling. So we're the only viable association in Jena. So we're contacted. So we decided to start a project called the Focal Point for People of African Origin, which helped us to have an office where we are now sitting. And the project is funded by the city of Jena and the land of Tunisia. So where you can see my three co-workers, Mr. Bekele from Ethiopia, and the lady in the middle, she's a model. Okay, real model is not, I'm not joking. So she's a real model, and she was born in Germany. She has never been to Africa. That's a problem. She was born in Germany, but I hope that she will go to Africa one day. Her father comes from DRC and the mother from Angola. Then I have a German who is here, Chris, the guy on the left, as you can see. So that's my team here in our office. And then I want us to show you some few examples of our achievement. This lady presented today, Shema. So she has to leave. She just told me that she has to leave. She lost her auntie just before she gave her talk. So our condolences are with her. So she was one of the students which I'm very proud of. She used our scholarship program and finished her PhD within 2 years, published wonderful papers, won so many prizes, and now she's assistant professor at the University of Science and Technology. And we have other students we use. We had our other program like this intra-African exchange program. This guy from Cameroon, he's now also a postdoc. He was a lecturer in Cameroon, but he got a postdoc position now in France. And after that, he plans to go back home and serve his country. And we have many other individuals like Samuel Budiba, who came to my lab, and she learned chemistry in my lab, did wonderful work, published, and she's now also assistant professor at the University of Tbilisi. And yeah, and her sister is close. Where's the sister? Yeah, she's one here. Luisa Budiba, who is a professor, also a member of ANSOLE. Then we have this young lady from, she's from Tbilisi in Algeria, and she's from Bejaya in north Algeria. Okay, so we had these two different, one Arabic student and one Berber student who came to our lab and did wonderful work. And then and the most interesting thing which ANSOLE did was not only giving knowledge, but also bringing people together. This student from Nigeria, Vivian Suru John, came to the lab of my lab while I was with Professor Saricivci. And what he did, he took this co-worker of Professor Saricivci away. So they got married. So you see, ANSOLE is not only giving knowledge, but also it's a marriage buzz. So if you come to ANSOLE, you will find your husband or you find your mate. So that's a good thing about ANSOLE. So, just to say, one of our students who was one of the prominent students is this Safa Azubo. She cannot attend this meeting. She told me she's in the hospital. But I want just, why am I showing this slide? When she had a scholarship to go to Belgium and spent 8 months doing nothing. But we accepted her in the laboratory of Professor Saricivci. Within 2 months, she worked on with this material together with other senior colleagues, and a Nature photonic paper came out of it. That was my first Nature paper. So we can see that if you give African students a good research environment, they will excel. And if we go to, when it comes to research and development, Africa, in the global publication, Africa is just contributing 1.4%, which is very extremely low, although we have 13.4% of the world population and very low researcher per million inhabitants. So what is the problem? The problem is that our governments are contributing very little money in research and development. The average for Africa is 0.41% as compared to 2.4% or 2% for Asia, 2.4% for North America and Western Europe. If you go in this chart, the amount of investment in research and development, you can see small country like Israel is topping with 4.7% of GDP, South Korea, and so on. But African countries, none of the African countries so far is contributing just 1%. So our problem in Africa is lack of funding. And if you most of the funding coming even for many to conduct research in Africa comes from external funders like ISP. The good thing with ISP, which I appreciate very much, is that they don't influence your research topic. You bring up your research, but other organizations try to influence what you have to research on. So I prefer the model of ISP, that the Africans themselves bring up an idea and they are supported by ISP. And the good thing with ISP, they give you a long-term support so that you can really do good work. But the fact that the African government are not contributing, it is a big minus for research activity in Africa. So the quest of scientific independence is important. So we need, our government should put in money so that we should research on topics relevant to the development of Africa. So if you ask an African student or researcher, what is your problem number one? Lack of research funding. This is a self-perceived challenge to careers of young researchers. I don't want to go into this list. This slide will be shared, not only online, but you can I can send it to you. So Africans researchers have a big issue. Funding. Many African governments pledge 1% of their GDP for research and development, but so far, even South Africa, which is the country with the highest GDP in Africa, has not yet attained 1%. So we need to, our government should do something in that field. And there are so many African governments which do not even have a policy in research, which is very bad issue. That's why there's brain drain. Young Africans have to move to Europe, not America, to do research. But you can see that most of, let me take the case of France, 50% of the publication in France comes from so-called developing countries, from research from developing countries, especially researchers from Senegal, from Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and so on. They are the one making the French research strong. Why? Because they have to move there. They cannot do good research at their home country. So our government should think Africa can only be developed if we put in money for research and development. So here I just give you the necessary measures to attain international standard. And one of the most important thing, where as somebody who has been doing evaluation, not only for ISP, but also for the World Bank and other organizations, is that most of our research environment are not conducive. Sanitation measures are not taken into account. You go to universities, the toilets are bad. We had my last evaluation, which I had in Ethiopia, a newly constructed university, a building of just 2 years old. I went there to evaluate that the university so that they should get funding. I asked the director of the building and the person who received me, well, please, I want to ease myself. So just 2 years old building. He started scratching his head, took me to the male toilet. It has been closed. Nobody can use it anymore. They opened the female toilet. The toilet basin has been broken. I just made a picture and showed him. I said, but how can't you, yeah, you don't need much money. Why can't you just do the basics so that students, women, especially this gender issue, how can women carry on research under such conditions? And so those are the basic things that African universities should, it's bad to say such thing in the public, but these are some basic things that we have to take into account in addition to research funding. Yeah, so I just give a list so you can read it. The slide will be shared because I want to go very fast. What has motivated ANSOLE this year is the principle of passing on. If you go to Israel, you have two main rivers, the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea. What does the Sea of Galilee do? The Sea of Galilee receives water from different tributaries and passes on that water through the Jordan River to the Dead Sea. And the Sea of Galilee receive and pass on. The principle of passing on, you give, okay? And what the Dead Sea does is takes the water and doesn't give. It just swallows up. And the Dead Sea is the deepest point on earth. So the Dead Sea is dead. You cannot drink the water. It's salty. It is dead. Why? Because it just takes. It's an egoistic way of thinking. And then, but the Sea of Galilee receives and gives. There are fishes people. That's where Jesus did a lot of miracles and so on. It's a lively place. I've been to both.
5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. I'm trying to do things quick, but I'm just saying the Sea of Galilee receives and gives water and is full of life. That is the second law of mindset. I'll explain. The Dead Sea only receives and doesn't give water and is dead. The first law mindset. So we come to thermodynamics. In the first law of thermodynamics, you always focus on a system. I, myself. Adam, open system, but I just think about myself, or a closed system, and you will talk about the internal energy and so on. But in the second law of thermodynamics, you go beyond the system, you think about your surrounding. And if you go to the equation of delta G, or let me say the total, the entropy law, so the total entropy is the entropy of the system and the entropy of the surrounding. And if you play with the equation, you will end up by getting the free enthalpy, which is the maximum non-expansion energy, and delta G is considered the useful energy. You are useful when you think about your surrounding. And this is what has motivated ANSOLE all this year to think about others by investing your time, your money, and your energy. And this principle has governed my activity. I want to say my is not out of pride. ANSOLE is today what it is because I did a lot of sacrifice, and I hope this, and many people supported me, but I had also many people who were against me. But I said it is normal when you are working, when you are active, you always have people who will fight you. That's normal. So but never be discouraged. Just keep on doing, and that's why I'm proud today where we are. So having this second, the second law mindset has brought ANSOLE up to this stage. So the second law mindset is an SDG mindset where you think about your not only your surrounding but also your environment. So and you become useful. So the SDGs, we know about them, and we need to apply the SDGs in all our activities, because not only equality between man and woman, not only there is not only equality and good education, but also our environment. What type of environment do we want to live for our children? So somebody was saying, and I was repeating, the underdeveloped are the developed. So the so-called the third world countries are now the developed country. Why? Because they are still virgin. And I just came back from Cameroon. I was so proud to see the virginity of the countryside. So, and I hope we can come back. Also, the developed countries should come back to that so-called underdeveloped stage where the nature and humans are in harmony. So I will try to end up my talk by thanking our sponsors, ISP and IPMT. I thank you for your attention, and I encourage those who are not yet members of ANSOLE to join the network. It's a dynamic network. It is a God-blessed network, and I thank God for carrying us up to this stage. I'm so happy. I want to say I have worked these last 2 or 3 nights almost for me to make this program. It has been a hard time, but I'm very proud. I'm very happy. And I thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Daniel. So are there any questions or comments for Daniel Egbe? I'm sure everybody is much more enthusiastic after this pep talk than before. And so we can, well, you will have to, you cannot share the cake with us online, but I'm sure everybody can have a drink to celebrate the anniversary of ANSOLE by themselves. So now I would like to continue with giving the floor to the next speaker, which is again an invited speaker, Christoph Ulbricht, who's a colleague of Daniel at the Institute of Polymeric Materials and Testing at Johannes Kepler University in Linz. He's studied chemistry in Jena, and is expert in organic electronic materials and applications such as lithium-ion batteries and organic solar cells. So the title of the talk is Defining Side Chains Succession in Anthracene-based polyarylene, ethynylene, phenylene, phenylenes, probing structure property relationships. So I'm sure you will explain to us what your research is about, and please take the floor.
Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, the slides, I'm not sure if they are visible. Maybe no. So, yeah, my slides are ready to go, but my voice is basically gone. So let's see how far I can go and what I can do with reduced spacing. Probably I will switch off my camera again. Simply, it's I think already enough if you have to listen to me when I need to cough in between, but you don't need to see it. And also, it might be better for the connection. So, but let's see. Okay. So, hello everyone. I want to talk today about, as already announced, defining side chain successions in polyarylene, ethynylenes, phenylene, vinylenes, and by doing so, also looking into structure property relationships associated to the side chain. This study was strongly supported by 3 institutions here. It's Johannes Kepler University in Linz, that is the Institute for Polymer Chemistry, the Linz Institute for Organic Solar Cells from Professor Seda Sarachivchi, who was giving the keynote lecture this morning. And also from the Institute for Polymeric Materials and Testing from Professor Lang, oh sorry, it's getting stuck, who's giving a keynote lecture tomorrow. The majority or major parts of the study were done by Nassima Bouguera and Samuel Inagni. They put a lot of effort into the practical lab work and also research to get these things done. Depending also how this goes with my speaking, you can read up on more details on most of the things I'm presenting today in a paper published in Polymer Chemistry. Yes. These are 9 pages and 60 pages of supporting information. So it should be sufficient for most of your questions. Today I will start with an introduction about polyarylene ethynylenes and polyarylene vinylenes, why we are looking into them and what advantages they might have. And then I will go a little bit into the possibilities you gain with sidechain engineering. Before this I will do before I start on the actual synthesis we accomplished during this study. Monomers as well as polymers, and then this will be followed by analysis with regard to structure property relationships. This will include size exclusion chromatography, also known as gel permeation chromatography, NMR spectroscopy, and UV-vis absorption and photoluminescence spectroscopy. And we'll end with an outlook. Polyvinyl ethynylene, vinylines are basically a hybrid material borrowing motifs from the very well researched and known PPV and PPE species. PPVs are known have characteristics such as that they are predominantly Hall conducting, that they have high lying lumen levels, and for this they often have unbalanced carrier and spot properties, which can be a little bit problematic in OLEDs, but actually they were one of the first materials tested and used in these kinds of applications. PPEs on the other side, the lumens are lower. Their structure element, like this triple bond, pose less steric hindrance and introduce more rigidity into the system. They often show high extinction coefficient. If they do not aggregate, they show high fluorescence. So, for example, in solution, but aggregated in solid state, often the fluorescence is rather low. Combining these two structure elements and creating this mixed PPE, PPV systems, you can absorb photochromic in comparison to PPE, photochromic shifted absorption and emission, and enhanced solid state fluorescence. Compared to PPVs, they have higher electron affinity, which is beneficial for OLEDs and results in low turn-on voltage. But also, there are further advantages. This includes, for example, the synthesis. The polymerization, often done via Horner-Würzburg-Emmons condensation reaction using a dialdehyde and a bisphosphonate in the presence of a strong base, like potassium diputylate, you form polymers rather quickly without the need of transition matter, which are often needed for cross-coupling reaction like Stille, Suzuki, or also Sunagashira, which we also need here to introduce a triple bond. Furthermore, the formed vinylene bonds are predominantly trans-orientated. Not only the polymerization by using compatible monomers contributes to high modularity, but also the synthesis of these dialdehydes is highly modular, and for this you can really realize high diversity of designs. Here are also some examples. Polymers with anthracene motifs, which I will come back to it later, with thiophene, or also DE motifs, or shifting the anthracene unit to other position along the polymer chain. Another advantage of this system is their broad range of application. They have been tested in OPVs, namely bulk heterojunction solar cells. They have been introduced into organic field effect transistors, and as also was mentioned just beforehand by Daniel, also in OLED devices. And a very special example is this stretchable device, which was, as mentioned, published in Nature Photonics. Besides this main change element, there is also the option to influence the optical property in theory by substituents, of course, but also by side change. Their purpose goes beyond to facilitate solubility. One early example was this rather simple structure, just alternating phenylene units and ethynylene and vinylene units with long side chains on this position and shorter on this ones. In specific cases, if R1 was selected to be octyl-decyl oxy, and here octyl-oxy side chain, it was observed that color in bulk turned out to be orange, and just changing, just changing the side chain just by one carbon unit, the color in bulk changed significantly, showing yellow, and going one step beyond back to orange. And just to depict how long actually such an C18 changes, I wanted to draw it out. Usually it's not done because it just takes too much space. But here you can see that this can, of course, have a dramatic effect on the aggregation in the solid state, while in solution, all these materials look basically the same, just small variation can be seen in the photoluminescence properties. Another example are this species with thiophene units and phenylene units. By reducing the side change from ethyloxyl to methoxy, the morphology of blended films with PCBM is changing significantly from rather coarse and going finer and finer, which of course also affects the performance in solar cells. Closing into our today's topic, here's another example of anthracene containing PPVs. Also here it was shown that side chains have a significant effect, while branched side chains lead to amorphous films. Linear side chains like octyl predominantly lead to ordered structure within the film, which can be detected by wide-angle X-ray diffraction spectroscopy. That order is in the film is once again also shown in the device performance, many of the parameters are quite different. One of the most research polymer, but also was already mentioned today, is this ANI-PV stud. The way this is actually synthesized is not just taking two complementary co-monomers, no, but by mixing actually 4 of these things, sorry, 2 times dialdehyde and 2 times bisphosphonate with various side chain in a ratio of 1 to 1. 1 to 1. This is actually done to really balance the morphology properties. In another study, optimizing actually the side chain of the often used acceptor. In this case, it's not PCBM, so no methyl ester, but the ethyl ester of fullerene was used to create devices closing into 5%. To simplify the system and actually to figure out how this side chain property correlation can be best approached, we decided actually to combine the side chain in one monomer and one dialdehyde and also in the bisphosphonate to come actually back again to a 2-component system. And for this, we plan the synthesis of monomers or polymers based of monomers with mixed side chain. The synthesis of the bisphosphonates is rather straightforward. If you want to go for equal side chains, so symmetric monomers, you simply start from hydroquinone. After Williamson etherification, brome methylation is performed, and then after a Bushoff reaction, this triethylphosphate, you already, so within 3 steps, you are at the final monomer. This is also rather efficient, and purification is straightforward. The synthesis of the dialdehyde, on the other hand, is a little bit more demanding. For the synthesis, at the beginning, for the synthesis of the dissymmetric ligands, not ligands, sorry, the synthesis of monomers with two different side chain, we decided to go with our classical synthetic approach, but so using a mixed ether, as we did with the bisphosphonate, after iodation, going for the formulation, we always ended up with a mixtures of 2 isomers, which could also not really optimize for one by changing the reaction condition, and also they are too similar to be separated, so that at the end, if you go further with a mixture of the 2 isomers, you will end up actually also with a mixture of 3 different dialdehydes. To design the whole synthesis symmetric, specifically, we took up on a publication from Sousse and Plunkett. would describe how to selectively introduce the bromine, and to transform and later on aldehyde etherification and creating this building block selectively. We optimize the whole procedure by actually making two-step obsolete, which was including the protection, deprotection of this aldehyde group. Furthermore, we also could vary this pathway to get the second isomer selectively as well. And for this, we could form both of this D-aldehydes with a specific side chain configuration, which is reflected in this number and color coding. So the sequence of the side chain, in this case, ethyroxyl, octioxy, ethyroxyl, is reflected by the letters and the colors, and on the same also is true, or holds true for the second one. So taking up this monomers, we also included actually the mixture and doing systematic synthesis, combining bisphosphonates and dialdehydes. We obtained a whole library of polymers with either defined, semi-defined, or completely ill-defined side chain successions. The dialdehyde commonly looks like this nice orange powder, and the final polymers are this intense red, has this intense red appearance. But the issue with defined and defined, semi-defined and ill-defined is simply explained. If you correct symmetric monomers, like the specific ones we synthesize, and also this bisphosphonate with identical side chain, the succession of the side chain will be very regular. There will be no interruption. But as soon, of course, as you introduce a mixture of additional monomers or a dissymmetric monomer like this one, then the succession of the side chain will depend on the orientation in which this monomer is incorporated. To document the polymerization, proves the formation of the polymers, of course, size exclusion chromatography can be applied, providing indications that we have polymers with 6 to 11 repeating units and similar, in most cases, similar polydispersities. Further evidence for the polymerization we can also find in the NMR spectroscopy. In the case of the monomers, the dialdehyde as well as the bisphosphonate, you can see the highly resolved signals, which upon polymerization show broadening and some small shifting. In particular, an indication for the successfulness of the polymerization is vanishing of the formyl signal and phosphonate specific signals, which cannot be found anymore in the polymer. the different in the side chain succession can actually be spotted also.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, then I need to rush. The difference in the side chain succession can be also spotted already for the monomers, as you may see here, depending on the positioning of the side chain towards the anthracene units. The specific signals along the side chain can actually even flip depending if the oxy side chain is next to the anthracene or this one, really indicating that the anthracene units and the side chain are influencing each other. This also can, this difference in the side chain succession can also be seen at the end in the polymers. As you can see, the different species show slight difference in the signal distribution. But for more details, I would refer you to the publication. Further on, we also investigated the materials with UV absorption and photoluminescence spectroscopy, while some difference are just subtils, other, especially in solution, especially in film, depending on the used monomers, the difference are rather significant, and you can actually see the impact of the positioning of the either linear or the branch side chain within the system. This is basically the same, just a little bit more resolved. And what we could figure out actually by comparing the spectra, that our previous findings that the position of the octioxy and hexioxy change in correspondence to the anthracene unit is the dominating factor, while the second side chain pointing in the direction of the double bond has just a minor effect, but can be also observed. So, to sum up, we successfully adapted and optimized the synthesis of these building blocks and succeeded in the preparation of 9 polymers. Close characterization, which I could not go into much detail, show clear structure property relationships and helped us to verify previous observation. These materials will be used in further investigations, especially also in the preparation. They are used in the preparation testing of both heterojunction solar cells. But we also think about further sidechain modification, which will, for time reason, I will actually skip the explanation, but which will at the end allow us actually to manipulate all the specific position in such a dialdehyde. At the end, I want to thank a couple of people, especially Professor Saricevci, and for his support and possibilities to work and do characterization at his institute. I also thank Herwig Heilbrunner for his support with some of the measurement. Then as a team from the Institute of Polymer Chemistry, Professor Paulik and Dr. Spiegel, I would like to thank for the support with the size exclusion chromatography measurements. Professor Lanke, I would like to thank for his support, and I also would like to thank Dr. Harald Hoppe, Shahidul Alam, and Dr. Richard Banken for the fruitful collaboration, and FEF and DFG for funding. And thank you for your attention, and I hope I'm ready to answer a question if you're interested.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question? I don't see anything in the chat yet, but no questions. Well, if you have a question later, then perhaps you can ask it directly to Mr. Christoph Ulbricht. Then I would like to give the floor now to the next speaker, Achref Chebil, doctor in physics engineering with a specialty in nanotechnology from the University of Sousse, Tunisia, is working at Nanomachine Laboratory. And the presentation is on development of flexible and sustainable all-solid-state supercapacitors for wearable electronics. So please take the floor.
Thank you. It is okay now?
Yes, we can see it.
We can see the presentation?
Yeah, we can see, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Hello. My name is Achref Chebil. I belong to Nanomachine Laboratory.
Sorry, share the other screen. You are sharing the presentation view.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And for now, it's okay?
Yeah, you can make it. Yeah, now it's good.
Okay. Sorry. Hello, my name is Achref Chebil, and I belong to Nanomachine Laboratory, directed by Professor Christoph, and I work on the development of flexible energy storage devices. Before I started my presentation, I would like to thank the organizer of ANSOLE Days, give me the opportunity to present my work. The Internet of Things is a global infrastructure for the information society, which provides advanced service by interconnecting objects, physical or virtual, such as smartphones, camera, alarm, logistic, follows, delivers, geolocalization, connected appliance, and agriculture. And a connected object or a communicating sensor including a sensor less modules. A radio module, which allows data transmission, sensor module, an artificial intelligence module, microprocessor and memories, analogic numeric converter, and an energy source to ensure the energy autonomy of the communicating sensor. The use of green nanotechnology presents an alternative solution to manufacture micro-energy sources based on biomass. In fact, green chemistry or sustainable chemistry is defined as the design and the development of the use of chemicals and process aimed to reduce or to eliminate the use of formation of substance danger of dangerous substance or toxic to health and to environment. Now we define the supercapacitor is a passive dipole having this symbol and composed of two electrodes separated by an electrolyte, which can be solid or liquid. The supercapacitors can be broken down into three categories: EDLC, electrode double layer capacitors based on carbonous materials, and pseudocapacitor based on conjugated polymers or transition oxide metals, or we can find the hybrid supercapacitor. The electrochemical performances of supercapacitor are the specific capacitance, the cycling retention, and the power and energy density. The specific capacitance can be in terms of bulk, farad per centimeter, or specific capacitance in surface, or in a specific capacitance farad per gram. Supercapacitors can store energy and restore it in the event of blackouts. Also, the signal filtering and the power supply stabilization. We can find the supercapacitor in different fields such as NAMs, embedded systems, in military application, in planes, trains, or in power electronic devices. Here, we developed a supercapacitor based on nickel foam loaded with reduced graphene oxide and manganese cobaltate using a liquid electrolyte. The device exhibits a higher electrochemical performances which can be used in different applications, such as in the field of transport, in trains, or in cars. And this work was done due to the collaboration between our Nanomizan laboratory, Professor Gigi, and with Professor Murat Ateş Polymer Group in Turkey. After that, we moved to develop a solid-state supercapacitor based paper substrate loaded with carbon black and Prussian blue nanoparticles mixed with graphite ink using screen printing technology, which exhibit also good electrochemical performances. And this work was done due to a collaboration between our lab, our Nanomizan lab, and the Department of Chemical Analytica of Professor Fabiana Arduini in Tor Vergata, Roma University. Also, we checked the lifetime, which is a key and an important factor in which why the electrochemical signature is coded for 5,000 cycles. And we can see that after 5,000 cycles, the cycling retention is about 94%. And in addition, we polarize and we succeed to store 1.01 volt in our device. Now we'll talk about the biosynthesis of graphene sheet from biomass. The graphene is the material of the 21st century. It has good mechanical properties, a large surface area. Also, it is non-toxic. It has a higher thermal conductivity, higher electrical conductivity, but it is very expensive because it needs a complicated and expensive instrument manufacturing and configuration process. For this reason, also the orientation of scientific community towards the synthesis of graphene based on biomass has undergone an important evolution. In this figure, we can see the evolution of the scientific production of, from 1,000 articles to 7,000 articles concerning the biosynthesis of graphene. And this is why we use biomass to synthesize graphene with a sustainable and an ecological approach. Here, we collected the bougainvillea flower after treatment, washing, and then putting in oven, adding the activation process after we put that in tubular furnace under nitrogen atmosphere. Then we use the HCl to remove the impurity, and we put after the solution in the oven for 8 hours at 100 Celsius and 100 Celsius. The same process was applied for date stone and the waste of caffeine. Activation process, very important step to create pores, and there is 3 different type of activation. We found physical activation, which is the carbonization at high temperature in the presence of oxidizing gases such as carbon dioxide. We can find also the chemical activation, which we use the chloride of zinc, phosphoric acid, and other materials, and we can find a combination between the chemical and the physical activation method. As we said, the physical is the gasification of the carbonized material by oxidation under water vapor carbon dioxide at a temperature between 700 and 1100. Or the chemical is activation by highly reactive chemical such as phosphoric acid and ZnCl2. The washing, after that, we wash the activation agent with HCl to remove impurities. Here we prepared the materials, the used materials, which we use carbon black, graphene derived from bougainvillea flower, from date stone, from coffee waste. The PVA also was used to prepare the electrolyte, which is mixed with sulfuric acid, and we used the textile such as substrate. The device fabrication with a simple process, ultrasonication, stirring, and then we immersed the electrode into a Petri dish for every sample. Then we put it into oven to dry the sample. Here we can see the process. After that, we use the textile because it is flexible, sustainable, abundant, and it's low cost. Here we put the Raman spectra of the 3 samples in order to determine the D band and the G band, which is those results that the powder extracted from the natural precursor is graphene sheet. Here also, we compared our results concerning the position of the 2 bound G and D, and we found that the graphene that the extracted powder is graphene sheet. The date stone also sample was further examined by transmission electronic microscopy, which confirmed the morphology of the former sample and confirmed that our device exhibits multi-layer wrinkled graphene sheets and obtained also anamorphous graphite carbon frameworks. Here we plot the electrochemistry signature for different samples, and we measured the value of the capacitance, and we found that the highest specific capacitance is attributed to the sample of carbon black graphene from date stone, which is equal to 13.5 farad per centimeter. Here we measured the cycling retention of our device, and we found that after 19,000 cycle, the device still exhibits a value of 101%, which is very good device. Here we compared our work with the state of the art, and we showed that an electrochemical superiority of our device, despite that the other work using expensive materials such as graphene, crystallized graphene, and ethynylene. Such as a conclusion, we can say that we developed a liquid state supercapacitor based on flexible substrate with higher electrochemical performances. So we developed a sustainable and flexible solid state supercapacitor based paper and textile substrate with a good electrochemical performances for wearable electronic devices. Also, we entities, we try to the rational exploitation of biomass valorization to synthesize graphene for energy storage devices, and we contribute to achieve the 7th Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations relating to access to a reliable and sustainable energy storage with affordable cost. Such as first outlook, we want to focus on the development of to the synthesis of graphene from other biomass precursors to limit the cost and to improve the performance of the device, to store the intermittent solar energy for different applications such as agriculture, healthcare monitoring, or smart lighting. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the speaker? I don't see anything in the chat yet, but yes.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thanks for the presentation. I'm just a little bit curious by using natural resources, especially something like date pit. How homogeneous is the material, your product you obtain afterwards? Because you have, I mean, a date pit is not very uniform. There are different materials, fibers and so on in there. So I'm just curious if you have different graphene, or is it everything the same?
Yes, yes. You mean different material between date stone, bougainvillea flower, waste of coffee?
Yeah, the thing is with natural product, especially, I was thinking about the date pit because, yeah, if you see it, it has different layers and fibers as well. So I was just wondering if every part of this pit is reacting the same way, or if you get a mixture of different phases, or I mean, it performs. That it's clear, but I'm just curious if you have some different graphene.
Yes, it was found the same, and this can be confirmed by the Raman spectroscopy, because we found the deep bands are similar. So I didn't put all results because of the time. I have the same also morphology image of bougainvillea flower, cafe waste, and date stone are the same, and also the Raman spectroscopy confirmed that.
Okay, so the material it even doesn't depend on the source; it's pretty much the same from every.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Sorry.
Just
if it's possible.
Yes, yes, please.
Yes.
We still have time.
About the morphology, the obtained graphene sheets are two-dimensional ones. But the difference is in the porosity of the specific surface. That's why we can find the difference in the capacitance and the energy and power densities. Okay.
Okay, thanks. So the underlying structure, as confirmed by FDRR, might be rather similar, but maybe so. Yeah.
The difference is in the porosity and the surface, specific surface.
Okay.
That's why we found the difference in the capacities, electrochemical performances of the three different devices.
Okay. So the accessibility is probably porosity and so on.
Yes, also, excuse me, and the porosity can be controlled by the incorporation of the activation agent.
Okay. So, okay. How aggressive you go there, maybe you burn bigger holes in the whole system. Probably.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome.
Are there any more questions or remarks? If not, perhaps we can go for the tea break early and then come back quarter past 4. Is that okay, Daniel? You should unmute yourself.
Yeah, I said we can. It's good that Dr. Achref Chebil was very short, so thank you very much. And I want to thank all those who presented up to now. And we've listened to wonderful presentation from, not only from Dr. Achref, but Christoph, with whom we have done research for how many years now, and who is almost like my, I don't know, I see like my son, because I know Christoph since he was 10 years old, and we've been doing things together up to now. And I think we'll continue to do nice things also in the future. And so, and I thank Ineke for leading this session, and I thank Carla and Brena for their presentation. Yeah, as I said, I'm very happy that we are celebrating today, and all the presenters so far have done their presentation in a wonderful way. And so we'll go to break now and come back to listen to posters. And I'm proud and happy to have our Latin America sister, Maria Teresa Alarcon. Before we go to posters, Maria Teresa will moderate 3 lectures. So, and I'm happy to have her. I don't know what the time now is in Mexico, but I think it's 6 hours behind the time or something like that or more. Yeah, but she's around. She has told me she's around. She's going to moderate the next 3 talks. So I wish us a nice restroom break and coffee break. So as Ineke said already, we come back at 16:15. So yeah, okay. Thank you. So don't leave the room. Just go and so that you should not be constantly. Just leave this thing all open, and you just ease yourself and drinking coffee, and then we will continue later on.